Enyx Studios is a virtual reality game design studio focused on creating next-gen games for PlayStation, Xbox, PC. At Enyx Studios, we're working to shape the future of interactive storytelling using virtual reality. Actually fell into designing video games by accident. I had a friend that asked me to help him develop a mobile app, and after doing some research, I found out that the video games were selling probably 50 times more than what the mobile apps were. So I started looking into it, and that was kind of the start of it. This is the PlayStation VR headset. This simply plugs into a PlayStation 4 and allows virtual reality games to be played on the PlayStation 4 system. What's really unique about this headset over some of the other ones is it works with existing hardware. Anyone who owns a PlayStation 4 will be able to purchase one of these headsets and instantly be able to play virtual reality games on their PlayStation 4. A Haunting is a game that dives into the darker side of human nature. It's a psychological horror game that takes the player into the town of Shady Hollow. The game begins in 1695, where a woman is accused of being a witch. The Reverend James Beaumont is the person responsible for her hanging. In 1940, the Beaumont family decided to move back to Shady Hollow and start a coal business. Well, soon after their arrival, their daughter Sally goes missing. The parents grow ill with grief, and eventually they mysteriously die. That leaves their only son, John Beaumont. Now it's 1975 and John Beaumont's a grown man. John decides he wants to sell his shares of the mining business, so he takes some miners up the hill to look at the mines, and John Beaumont's the only one who returns. He's all bloody and battered, and he claims it was the Hollow Creek witch who took him. He's immediately convicted of murder and sent away. It's now 2015, and there's 5 indie filmmakers who decide to travel to Shady Hollow and do a documentary on those 1975 Beaumont murders. And once they get there and they start uncovering the story, they discover there's a lot more to the urban legend than just a story. A Haunting Witching Hour actually started off as a game called 6 Days. 6 Days was about a family that moves to this town. The land that they lived on was actually inhabited by a witch back in the 1600s, and their daughter became possessed and she got sent to the asylum. And the player would eventually go to this asylum and experience all the things that happened to this girl there. That was the start of it, and it ended up blossoming into what is now called a Haunting Witching Hour. I have a few games that I really like. Some of my favorite ones are Assassin's Creed, Batman. I like the games where they're RPGs where you play as a character and there's storylines. Any game that has a really deep storyline really pulls me in. Another great game was The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and of course Outlast was a great game. Those are the games that really kind of keep me going. Until Dawn, of course, on the PlayStation 4, that's a fantastic game. My favorite console, I would say, is both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Right now we're developing for the PlayStation 4, so that one has a little closer spot to my heart.